Welcome to Birds Prey Sports, where we weekly cover Ravens and Orioles news. We're your hosts, TJ and Jared. And in this video, we're going to be doing a pregame for the most important game of the year as of yet, AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And that game makes me nervous, man. It really makes me nervous. It makes me excited at the same time because
Man
we have,
up. It's like,
I know I need to man up. I need to man up, but we have sort of a rough history with the Chiefs. And I know most of that history has been with Greg Roman and Wink
it's
Martindale.
Denny's playbook.
Burger King. But anyways, we got a new coaching staff. We got to revamp defense and offense, and that makes me feel a lot better. And I definitely do have a lot of confidence in our Ravens, but it's going to be a tough challenge. And like that team in 2012 did, they had to beat the best to be the best. And we're going to do that on Sunday. So I have confidence in us, and I want to see us do it. But to sort of give like some opening thoughts about the game. I hope that we get to see Mark Andrews play in that game. I hope that we get to see Marlowe play. I think it's time to unleash the two-headed monster of Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely. I feel like that can, definitely give the Chiefs defense a lot of fits. Having them go across the field and just having them do all types of routes. I mean, hopefully that's even in the playbook. Hopefully Munkin has had, some time to really work with Mark to get that going. Um, and hopefully we can get, Dalvin Cook going. I feel like we have an advantage in the sort of like they haven't seen Mark play for us in Todd Monken's offense, or at least a lot. They haven't seen a lot of it. They haven't seen a large sample size of it. They also haven't seen a large sample size of Dalvin Cook playing in Todd Monken's offense. So I feel like those two players can be the key players in this game to cause a lot of misdirection, a lot of confusion for the Chiefs defense. I also feel like OBJ, and I feel like I say this every week, but I feel like this game is the game that we're going to have to see OBJ really emerge. We didn't really see him targeted a lot last week against the Texans, but I feel like this game is the game where he's going to be targeted for that big catch. And is it OBJ from 2021 against the Bengals in the Super Bowl going to show up, or is he not? I feel like he will, and I feel like these are the type of games that we got OBJ for. So I feel like on offense, those those three players would be the keys to the game. I feel like the defense, is going to do its thing, and Patrick Mahomes is going to do his thing as well. But I feel like this game is truly offense to offense. I feel like it's going to be one of those games where whichever offense can keep up the most, and just hopefully we can get a stop on defense and offense can keep going. I'm sorry, I'm just nervous, but that's just my opening thoughts. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I remember like when the Chiefs won the game, you were like having a full blown panic attack.
Oh no, 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 no. Listen, don't believe. I'm just saying that because I know how the refs are with the Chiefs. I don't want the refs to try to rig the game or throw the game in their favor. But that's basically all that was about. Trying to make me look
Yeah,
bad.
it's not bad. It's just you were having a panic attack. So I had to go. I was like telling you to relax and whatnot. You're like, no, like I'm gonna blah 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 blah. So, but no, in all seriousness though, he didn't have a panic attack, but I can understand your worries and frustrations, because the Chiefs, I think, do have the upper hand when it comes to officiating. Patrick Mahomes, the golden boy of the league, definitely does seem like they have that advantage, and it seems to have gotten worse, over the years, especially this year. But I think it's gonna be important for it not to get to that point, to where it can be in the ref's hands, and honestly, the Chiefs defense is good, but they gave up a lot of running holes in that game. They were getting pushed around in the trenches a lot, in that game versus the Bills. And can I be honest? I think the Bills played a little bit better than the Chiefs in that game. But unfortunately, the Bills made probably one or two more mistakes than the Chiefs did. Because I don't think the Chiefs really made a mistake. They had the turnover, I guess, at the back of the end zone. But I mean, I think Josh Allen did all he could do, to win that game. And, you know, I mean, he missed that one throw to what is his name?
Khalil
Shakir, I
Shakir.
think. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the end zone in late stages of the game. He had Diggs wide open, but I can understand why he went for the home
On
run
that same
ball.
play. On
Yep.
that same play.
And but I can understand why he went to Shakir because Shakir was open for the touchdown. He just underthrew him a little bit, But like I was discussing in our Texans recap video, that's a heartbreaking loss for them. Because I mean, you go through all this adversity, you're 6-6 and you win the last 5 games, win the division, you beat the Steelers in the first round, and you come in and lose to Kansas City at your own home, and man, I mean that's gotta suck. Hopefully we don't gotta experience that in this week. But Lamar, I think he's playing the best ball of his career. He have probably one of the best. Honestly, can we be real here? The Ravens defense is one of the best since 2000. I mean, the 2000 defense will always have the edge over any Ravens defense. I don't think that'll ever be topped. But the Ravens 2023 defense is definitely one for the storybooks. Especially if you almost said win the World Series, win the Super Bowl. They probably could go ahead and baseball and win this World Series. That's how good they are. But overall, this team has a fantastic balance, and honestly, we're probably very, well matched up versus the Chiefs, in my opinion. Probably more so than the past years, the 4 times we've played Mahomes before. And I mean, let's be real, the times we played Mahomes, he's done a pretty good job against our defense. He's done a pretty good job against our defense, but he's
He
never
averages
faces
3 touchdowns each, and he
mm,
averaged 3 to 4 touchdowns in each of those games too.
exactly. And honestly, Mahomes, he's gonna do his thing all the time. It feels like it's very rare when he doesn't do his thing, but it's gonna important to bully them around. We cannot let them get the upper hand whatsoever. Say what you want about the receivers, say what you want about their defense, say what you want about Travis Kelce being washed or whatever you want to say about the Chiefs. But you can't give Mahomes any upper edge, no matter what the circumstances are. For players like that, don't how do I say that? They don't just fail. You have to make them fail. You have to bully them into the ground, bury them in the dirt, make sure they never come back up. You can't leave them with any life, and to the fact that we beat Mahomes on one of the worst Ravens teams in the hardball era, not one of the worst Ravens teams, but one of the worst teams in the last few years, the 2021 team, right?
Right.
Exactly. So, I mean, just it's going to be very interesting because this isn't a regular season matchup anymore. This is a postseason matchup. This is an AFC Championship game matchup. The Ravens have never hosted the AFC Championship game, and Baltimore hasn't hosted an AFC Championship game since 1971. So, and that was probably back at like freaking Memorial Stadium or whatnot, So, I mean, the Baltimore Colts. So, there's so much on the line, and honestly, Lamar has a chance to continue to rewrite everything that anything that's ever been said about him. He's been breaking a whole lot of narratives week in, week out. People just continue to say some stupid crap about him, some old narratives back. I mean, the running back narrative is gone. It should be gone, honestly. You know, Lamar is a dual threat quarterback. He's not a running back. He can throw the ball and he can throw it effectively. And people just need to accept that. And it's crazy when you just go on social media and see, I'm gonna be real with you. People are stupid. Like, let's be real here. People have no ball knowledge whatsoever. Like nobody ever just takes the time and just looks at a few games. They do. They just box. It's crazy. How can you even box score watch, whatever? And you look at his last few games versus the Dolphins, versus the Niners, whatever. Lamar had 300 and whatever passing yards and 5 touchdowns versus the Dolphins, 200 some passing yards and 2 touchdowns versus the 49ers. He didn't have the 200-yard passing game in this game, but he threw for 2 touchdowns. So it's just like I'm sorry, like a lot of your ball knowledge right now, honestly, can be tested on how you feel about Lamar. It's one thing if you don't like him as a person, which I don't know how you can. I don't know how you cannot like him as a person, but you know, you have to just admit he's a great quarterback. He's an elite quarterback. And I think that conversation's over.
Yeah.
They said a lot of people coming into the season said, "Oh, maybe in a little bit more of a pass offense, Lamar maybe not won't do that well. The Ravens are going to make it to the playoffs. They're the third, fourth best team in the AFC North. All this crap that we've been dealing with all year. people like me and you and real Ravens fans who knew what Lamar's potential were, knew when you gave him the weapons, you gave him you gave him just whatever offensively to succeed, he could do something like this. And he's doing it this year. And this might be the beginning of something even greater. Who knows? So it's just genuinely sad to see people just because honestly, it just feels like a lot of people's Lamar opinions about Lamar are formulated from other people's opinions. They don't create their own opinion. They listen to the narrative and then don't even do enough research to see if it's correct or not.
Yeah.
And then they just spew it out on the internet, spew it out, spew it out, spew it out. And it's just like he may never beat the narratives, honestly. He wins the ring this year. It's gonna be, oh, Burrow was hurt, oh, this guy was hurt, oh, it's the Lions and the 49ers over there, and oh, it's Mahomes' worst team he's ever had, and it's just like you deal with the cards you're dealt with, you gotta use them. And we're using them, and we got the first seed. I mean, we did everything we needed to do this year. Especially if we win the Super Bowl, then we did everything we needed to do. So I know I got a little bit of a rant there, but I'm just getting sick and tired of people, you know, talking about an elite quarterback like that, and then they'll sit around and give other people excuses galore. But with Lamar, it's always he's got to do this, he's got to do that, he's got to like, and then when he does it, it's like then they add on more. It's like you can't add on more than what you just said. If he beat what you said, your point is invalid at this point. Unless you created this, checklist or whatever from the start, and he needs to complete everything, then you need to be quiet, honestly. And that's
Yeah.
just how it's got to be. And I hope he wins his ring, and I hope that he continues to shut these freaking haters off.
Yeah. And everything you said was facts. And there's a saying, if you have haters, you're doing something right. And Lamar's definitely been doing everything right, his whole career in the NFL. And Sunday is just the next step, of him
Yep.
getting closer to changing to number one, which means he's winning the Super Bowl. So
Yep.
we're going to see that. But let's get into these stats, man. Let's see exactly what we're facing up against.
Oh, hold on. Let me check some real quick.
And I just like to mention, I'm really excited to see matchups. I'm really excited to see Kyle Hamilton on Travis Kelsey, Roquan against Travis Kelsey. I'm excited to see our matchup, how we match up better against, their skilled players now. So
Yep. Yeah, because didn't have a lot of those guys back then. Anyways,
they weren't in our primes yet, like how you mentioned earlier.
yep, exactly. Like Matabike and Queen and all them and Stevens. Um, that's really all I can think about right now. And then we didn't have Roquan, Kaham. We didn't have, I guess, Kyle Van Noy, right?
Nope.
Clowney, um,
Marlette,
Pierce, Marlette, yep. Darby maybe, so
we didn't have him.
anyways, to get into the stats here, the Kansas City Chiefs offense, they average 22.3 points per game, which is 14th in the NFL. They average 354.8 yards per game, which is 8th in the NFL. They average 0.353 points per play, which is 14th in the league. They average 5.6 yards per play, which is ninth in the league. Their third down conversion rate is 42.92%, which is sixth in the league. And their fourth down conversion rate is at 52.38%, which is 14th in the league. The red zone scoring percentage is at 52.11%, which is 19th in the league. And touchdowns per game is at 2.3, which is 16th in the league. The Kansas City's defense now, the opponent's points per game is at 17.1, which is second in the league. Opponent yards per game is at 292.5, which is third in the league. Opponent's points per play is at 0.275, which is second in the league. The opponent yards per play is at 4.7, which is fourth in the league. Opponent third down conversion rates are 36.40%, which is eighth in the league. Opponent fourth down conversion percentage is at 48.65, which is 15th in the league. Opponent red zone scoring percentage touchdowns is at 51.85%, which is 10th in the league. And opponent touchdowns per game is at 1.9, which is third in the league. So it's kind of an opposite here. We've seen Kansas City's offense, be one of the best units in the NFL for years. But it seems to have taken a little bit of a step back this year. Obviously, with their pass catchers just kind of being kind of being terrible, like MVS and Kadarius Tony, you know, and I can't think. Rasheed Rice has been a bright spot for them, offensively, but you know, not the best year offensively for the Chiefs that we usually see. But defense has been lights out. This is probably the best defense Mahomes has had in his career. He's been dealt the wrong cards when it comes to defense, especially like in 2018. Even in 2019 too, but they got the job done. But yeah, just things to take away here, they seem to be, you know, uh, what's it called? I think we're probably the best team when it comes to opponent points per game, but obviously they're not allowing a lot of points here, 17.1. I think they said they haven't allowed a 30-point score this year, if I'm not mistaken. So that's something to look out for. We're on like we've been scoring 30 points per game for like the last few weeks and months now, but um, you know, these stats are very, very interesting here. So if
Mhm.
you do the honors of reading the rushing statistics here.
Yeah, so KC offense rush play percentage is 39.52, which is 26th in the league. So we're still very much a passing heavy offense. Like to pass the ball a lot, like to get Kelsey the ball. Their playmakers like Rasheed Rice and Kadarius Tony on a good day. uh Yards per rush, they get about 4.4 yards per rush, which is pretty good, considering them not being much of a passing team. That means that when they do run the ball, they're pretty effective with Isaiah Pacheco. They get about 25 rushes per game. Again, not really a rushing team like that. They get about 109.3 rush yards per game, which is about average, league average. 0.6 rush TDs per game, which is 25th in the league. KC's defense, opponent rush play percentage, 41.37. So teams generally like to run the ball against them. Opponent yards per rush, 4.5, which is 25th. So they don't allow a lot of yards per rush, which can definitely pose as a problem because, outside of Lamar, our running backs in general, like Gus, you know, even Justice sometimes haven't really been able to hit the holes like that. Haven't been able to get a lot of yards per rush. So that definitely might be a challenge to run the ball. Um, 25.7 opponent rushes per game. So again, even though they don't allow a lot of yards per rush, opponents generally like to run the ball on them a good amount of times. Opponent rush yards per game, 114.9. So again, that kind of is in our favor, but that's still kind of average. Opponent rush TDs per game, 0.6 is seventh in league. So their running defense is a little bit more stout than what it usually is, than what it usually was in past years, but we still have to exploit them at what we're the best at, and that's running the football. So hopefully, Dalvin, Gus, even Justice can get going a little bit in the running game. We should be able to win the game. So
Yep,
we're gonna do that.
yep, exactly. Nothing really pops out here when it comes to rushing statistics. Like you said, they're very much a pass happy team, so they're not really going to be running the ball that much. Um, they don't really seem to run the ball that effectively either. Well, I mean, they're ninth in rush yards, yards per rush, but like I said, how many gaping holes were open, in that Chiefs game versus the Bills. So that's really something they gotta really look at and be like, this is a game for Gus, this is a game for Hill, this is a game for Cook, just like you said. So, anyways, to move on to the passing statistics, I'll do the offense, you do the defense. Um, Kansas City's offense, pass play percentage is at 60.48%, which is seventh in the league. Completion percentage is at 65.95%, which is 11th in the league. Yards per pass is at 6.7, which is a 14th in the league. Passes per game is at 36.8, which is sixth in the league. Pass yards per game is at 245.5, which is seventh in the league. Interception thrown percentage is at 2.43%, which is 21st in the league. QB sack percentage is at 3.85%, which is first in the league. So their offensive line seems to be doing a good job protecting Lamar. Mahomes, not Lamar. And obviously very much a pass happy team. I'm interested to see what their passing statistics are in the last few seasons, especially like 2019, 2021. But they're almost throwing it like 40 times a game. almost getting 250 yards a game. But you know, if there's one thing that sticks out here, right here, if I had to be honest, is the interception throwing percentage, 21st in the league. Honestly, this might be a game for guys to start ball hawking. You know, I'm gonna do a little sneak peek here. If I can get this thing out the way.
And obviously, the
Uh,
ball hooking comes with a risk, so
14,
let's be a
14.
little
So
bit calculated with that.
yeah, exactly. You're very correct on that. But guys like Marcus Williams, Geno Stone, this could be their time to shine. Honestly, because I mean he has 14 picks in the league. Maybe 14 picks on the season, which is not a bad amount for a quarterback, but a little bit more than you probably would have want. So this could be a big game for guys like Marcus Williams and Geno Stone, like I just said. Maybe Hamilton too. He doesn't have a lot of interceptions, but he has a decent amount this year. More than his rookie year when he had none. So if he got one, that's more than he got last year. But you know, I would really look out for guys like Marcus Williams and Gino. I mean, obviously, it's very difficult to cause turnovers with the Chiefs because they're very calculated, they're very specific, they're very controlled. But if we can start bullying these guys to the point where they maybe want to fight for extra yards, and they can pop that ball out, or they want to run an extra route because they want to get open, and then I don't know, Marcus Williams cuts them off, or Kyle Hamilton, or Brandon Stevens, or whoever, So I don't. That's just something to think about. But anyway, you can go ahead and read the KC pass defense here.
Yeah, so opponent pass play percentage 58.63, which is 21st in the league. Opponent completion percentage 60.88. So opponents complete, a good amount of passes against the Chiefs defense. Opponent yards per pass is 5.3, which is second in the league. So opponents are they're getting a good amount of yardage per pass. I know the Ravens kind of have a short to mid game that they like to get going on. Kind of once the running game is established. So, hopefully that can show up with Zay and Aguilar. Aguilar especially. He's like the king of our short game. I noticed. Um, Opponent passes per game 33.4. This is kind of gonna this is kind of not confusing, but kind of weird to me because we're not a team where we have Lamar throwing the ball 34, 33, 34 times a game. We're not really going to have Lamar do that a lot. Opponent pass yards per game, 177.6, which is fourth in the league. Opponent interception thrown, 1.42, which is 29th in the league. And sack percentage is 8.51, which is first in the league. They like to get a lot of sacks, which is kind of crazy because against the Bills, they did not record a sack. So our old line was struggling a lot against the Texans blitz in the first half. We are definitely going to do a lot better job against Chris Jones and the whole Chiefs D line to keep Lamar safe. Because that's definitely been a reoccurring theme in the previous four games we played against the Chiefs. They've been able to get to Lamar. They've been able to pressure Lamar and sack Lamar too. So definitely got to do a lot better.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. This could be like I think me and you are probably gonna agree on this. This definitely needs to be a game for the running game. I mean, if you look at the Chiefs and Bills game, Mahomes and Allen didn't light up the world with their arms. A lot of that game was put on the ground.
Yeah.
So if we can, the thing about us is, if you play that game with us, we're most likely gonna win. Like, be real here. Like with Lamar, Hill, Edwards, Cook, whatever. It'd been nice to have Mitchell, but that's besides the point. Or Dobbins, but again, that's besides the point as well. But our running backs are serviceable enough to the point where you get into a running game battle with us, I think we win 90% of the time, if not 95. So, their pass defense seems to be pretty decent. They don't really seem to be causing a lot of interceptions. But the fact of the matter is, this needs to be a game where the run sets up the pass. Simple as that. Play action needs to be developed or delved into in the second half. I don't know how this game's gonna go, but who knows? The Ravens like to pull some tricks out of their back sometimes. So maybe
Yeah.
they'll start airing the ball out. I don't know. Maybe they'll start doing that. But I'm confident in Monken for making any adjustments for any flaws in the game plan. He proved that. and he proved that in a big way last week. So, um, anyways, we're gonna move on to the individual player stats here. We're gonna do player stats into the season, not the postseason. Just to give you an overall picture of what they like to do. I'm gonna go over the offense here. Patrick Mahomes has played 16 games, 401 completions, 597 yards, 67.2 completion percentage, 4,183 yards. He averages 7 yards per attempt. He averages 261.4 yards per game. His longest is 67 yards. He has 27 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. Um, Let me see here. Oh, rushing Isaiah Pacheco. He's played 14 games, 205 carries, 935 yards. He averages 4.6 yards per carry. His longest is 48. Seven total touchdowns. He averages 66.8 yards per game. Um, Move to receiving here. Their leading receiving. Their leading receiver is always going to be Kelsey. Um, Travis Kelsey, he's played 15 games. He has 93 receptions on 121 targets, 984 yards, 10.6 yards per catch. He has five total touchdowns. His longest is 53 yards. He averages 65.6 yards per game. So obviously not the most dominant Kelsey season, but he's still obviously a threat as we've seen in that Bills game. But anyways, Rashid Rice, the rookie wide receiver. He's a rookie, right? I believe he's a rookie, right?
Yes, rookie.
Yeah, so rookie wide receiver. He's played all 16 games, or not all 16 games. He's played 16 games, 79 receptions, 102 targets. Sorry. 938 yards. He averages 11.9 yards per catch, seven total touchdowns. His longest is 67 yards. He averages 58.6 yards per game. Justin Watson has played 16 games, 27 receptions on 53 targets, 460 yards. He averages 17 yards per catch. He has in the way. He averages let me see here. He has three total touchdowns. His longest is 41 yards and 28.8 yards per game. Um and we're just gonna say his last one here. MVS, 16 games played in total, 21 receptions, 42 targets, 315 yards, 15 yards per catch, one touchdown. As long as it's 46, he averages 19.7 yards per game. So we're gonna move on to the defense here. I'm gonna let you read it here.
Yeah, so starting off with their safety, Justin Reed. He's played 16 games, has 95 total tackles, 74 solo, 21 assisted. He has 3 sacks. He has one interception on the year. Trent McDuffie, who's, arguably one of the best corners, young corners in the league. He's played in 16 games. He has 80 total tackles, 60 solo, 20 assisted. He has 3 sacks, no interceptions on the year. Um, Drew Tranquil, who's their linebacker. He's played 16 games, 79 total tackles, 54 solo, 25 assisted. He has 4.5 sacks. He has no interceptions as well. L'Jarius Sneed, who is also a pretty good cornerback, one of the top, probably I'd say probably top 10, top 15. He's played in 60 games this season, has 78 total tackles, 60 solo, 18 assisted, no sacks. But he does have 2 picks. Leo Chanel, their other linebacker, he's played in all 17 games. He has 65 total tackles, 40 solo, 25 assisted. He has 3 sacks and no picks. Nick Bolton has played in 8 games. He has 60 total tackles, 38 solo, 22 assisted, no sacks, and he has one interception. Willie Gay has played in 16 games. He has 58 total tackles, 44 solo, 14 assisted, 1 sack, one interception. Mike Edwards has played in all 17 games, 51 total tackles, 32 solo, 19 assisted, 1 sack, one interception. And that's a I'll go a little bit more.
You can only you just read one more.
I'll just go to their arguably best player in defense. They have Chris Jones. He's played in 16 games. He has 30 tackles, 20 solo, 10 assisted, 10.5 sacks. And I'll stop there. But their defense, like we said, this is the best Chiefs defense that Patrick Mahomes has had. And it's going to be a challenge to go up against them, especially running. They seem more stout against the run as usual. So I feel like, it'll take a couple drives, maybe 3 drives for the Ravens to really figure them out and start really rolling. And hopefully our defense can stop them as well. Because, you know, that is one thing that the Ravens have kind of always been kind of, a different teams when we get behind. But I do believe that this team can make the right adjustments to, combat that. But let's hope that we don't get behind and start panicking. But
Right.
yeah, it's going to be a tough challenge. But like we said, to be the best, you got to face the best.
Right.
And it's going to mean a lot for Lamar Jackson's career, a lot for his legacy, a lot for the city of Baltimore. So I'm hyped. I'm nervous. I'm everything. But all in all, I just want to win. I just
Give me
want to
your
win.
predictions. Give me kind of individual predictions and give me your overall game prediction.
So individual predictions. I feel like Lamar. I feel like this game is gonna have to throw for over. I don't know if he's gonna have to, but I would like to see him at least throw in a 175, 220 yard mark. I want to see him throw that. I want to see him get 2 passing touchdowns. But I really want us to pound him on the run. I feel like our individual running backs, Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, I feel like they have not had just a game where they dominated in a while, man, in a while. And I just want us to pound them. I want us to jump out to a 10-0 lead. I just want us to pound them with our running backs. And I want Gus to have like a 80-yard game, 20 carries, 1 touchdown. I think the final score could be 37-20. 37-20.
Yeah.
I really
Um,
just pound them, man. I really do.
well, I want that too, So you predict us to clinch a playoff berth, a Super Bowl berth here. Which is crazy to think that this is the chain for the Super Bowl. But for me, I kind of agree with you with Lamar. Um, standard passing, passing wise, get 2 touchdowns. I would like to see him get a third as well. But for me, the most important thing here are guys like Matabike and guys like Away, Queen, pretty much the defense in general, but a few guys I want to see step up in this game are Marcus Williams, Kyle Hamilton, and Geno Stone are safeties. Why do I say that? It's because I need them to cause some turnovers. Those are really our 3 turnover guys, interceptions wise. Um, and I want to see PQ and RS, alphabetical brothers. I want to see them ball out as well. I want to see them hitting hard. Like Pacheco runs hard. He don't really run fast, but he runs hard. So, let's make him run into a wall. So with the alphabetical brothers, you know, but honestly, whoever's winning this game is whoever wins this turnover battle, in my opinion. You can't give teams extra opportunities, and whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game, in my opinion. And honestly, the offensive line better not play like how they did in that first half at all in this game. Like whatever Lamar said at halftime better resonate through their asses the whole playoff run. So I predicted the Ravens and Chiefs to be in the AFC Championship game, and I predicted us to lose. Not this game, not this time, but early in the year. But just to see how the season has played out and how everything's going, I'm predicting the Ravens win. And I'm predicting to win 31-28. I know that's a lot of points for the defense to think about giving up, but we may make a few mistakes, but hopefully they make more. But I predict the Ravens to win 31-28, an exciting game. And honestly, it might be a game where Tucker makes a game-winning kick, if I had to be honest. So we know how exciting these games can get when they're very close. And I think that really only the Chiefs in these 4 matchups have had a blowout. You consider like 34-20 a blowout, I guess. But or at least not a blowout, but a domination. So um, you know, I don't know. I predict 31-28 W to send us to Vegas to give us another week off to make sure that we're playing either the Lions or the 49ers, a team we've already faced. But that's besides the point. But that's pretty much that's my prediction. That's what I gotta say. I do want to say, this has been an incredible journey. This is gonna be the last game at the bank. It'd be nice to go, but let's I don't know. I guess we'll see how things play out. But this has been really fun. It feels like we're good luck ever since we created this channel. Both of our teams have been one seeds, but I've been very grateful. You guys have been eating up the shorts. Eating up the shorts. That's funny, but we got to 150 subscribers. So thank you for that as well. It'd be dope if you can get us to 200 by the end of the month. But I'm not gonna be too greedy. I don't want to be too greedy here, but just thank you guys for everything. And you too, bro.
Yes, and like you said, thank you guys for everything. We're gonna keep grinding. We're gonna keep, putting out content for you guys. And you know, you're 31-28. I'm 37-20. I don't care which one happens. I just want to win. But thank you guys. We're Birds of Prey Sports. Check out our social medias. Check out our second channel, Casual Cinema. Have a great weekend.
Oh, sorry. Before we end this video, what jersey you want to see us wear? There's been a lot of debate about that.
All black. I want to see all black
Okay,
personally.
me
But
too. Me too. Don't blink black.
yeah, yeah. But have a great weekend. We'll see you guys at the bank on TV, but we'll see you with the win. We're Birds of Prey Sports, and we're out.
Bro.